After a long day, I love to sit down and have a nice cold beer. So today we're going to be converting a chest freezer into a Kegerator, otherwise known as a Keezer. Let's get started. So we just picked up this chest freezer from a friend for free, which is really awesome. But the bad part about that is it does have some imperfections here and there. There's some rough spots and there are some dents and dings in it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to give it a whole new coat of paint. But before we can do that, we need to sand down all of those rust spots. Once we get those sanded down, Jamie's wiping it off right now, and then we can head back to the paint booth where we're going to apply an enamel-based primer first, and then once that primer sets up, we can come back and hit it with the enamel-based paint. We're using a flat black for this project, and you can get appliance paint, however, enamel paint should work just fine. Then we moved on to building the collar, and essentially the collar is going to allow us a surface in order to drill through and not have to worry about hitting the Freon lines in the side of the freezer. This is going to give us a place to install our faucets. Now the collar that I built was out of plywood and it's about 5.5 inches tall. I made a simple box out of plywood using pocket hole screws, and then I covered that plywood with a walnut veneer. However, before I could cover the plywood, I needed to shellac the surface in order to properly seal that plywood so that that peel and stick veneer would adhere to the wood. Then I came back and I sprayed the entire collar, or the veneer rather, the walnut veneer, with a shellac in order to just seal that wood or seal that veneer and make it look really nice. Now the veneer and the plywood were things that I had laying around. Obviously this would be a lot easier just to build it out of a 1x6 walnut or oak or something of the sort, and then you could stain to suit your taste. Now it was time to attach the collar to the chest freezer. In order to do that, we needed to first remove the top. Now the hinges on the back of the chest freezer are actually spring loaded, so you're going to make sure when you unscrew those hinges that you hold on to that because that hinge is under tension and it could pop up as you remove those screws. I'll slide the top off of the top of the chest freezer and keep that in a safe spot. Then we can attach our collar to the top of the chest freezer using 90-degree brackets and 3/4 inch screws. Then we can follow that up by applying a bead of 100% silicone to the bottom edge of that, or where that collar sits on the chest freezer, and that's just going to prevent any air movement. I also realized that I didn't edge band the top of the plywood, and the top of the chest freezer is not going to adequately cover that. So what I did was I added some edge banding to the top of that plywood just to make it look nice when it was closed. Since the collar is just plywood, we wanted to make sure we added a layer of insulation just to make sure that we controlled that temperature inside the cooler as well as possible. So what I used was 2-inch thick rigid foam insulation. I adhered that to the collar, on the inside of the collar obviously, and then I came back with some spray foam insulation and filled in that gap between the bottom of that rigid foam insulation and the cooler itself. Now that we've got the collar installed and properly insulated, we can reattach the top. To do so, just make sure you set the top right on top of your collar exactly how you want it. Align those hinges, and then you're going to attach the hinges with the same screws that you used before. One hole is going to be in the collar, and the other hole is going to be into the chest freezer itself. Now, I wanted to make my unit portable, so what I did was add casters to the bottom, and in order to do so, I attached some casters to some smaller pieces of plywood, and then I epoxied them onto the bottom. Now this was kind of a difficult process because the cooler is big and it was just hard to manage getting those under there and making sure that they were completely flat. If I had to do it again, I would just use one big sheet of plywood, and that way I could just slide that underneath the cooler and add some epoxy to some spots here and there to secure it in place. Now it was time to drill the holes for the faucets. I opted to keep all of my faucets to one side. That way it just makes getting the kegs in and out of the chest freezer a lot easier. I ended up spacing my faucets 5 inches apart, and I think typical faucets are spaced about 3 inches apart, but I wanted to leave some extra room between them for some tap handles and bigger tap handles, and just having more spaces is a nice thing. All right, so it looks like we've got a lot of lines running around here, but essentially the way that you hook this thing up is we've got one tank of CO2, and it's carbon dioxide. It's a pressurized tank, so that's gonna pressurize the beer and make sure that it stays fresh. So the one line coming out of the CO2 tank, we've got a regulator on here that not only shows us the pressure that we have going to the kegs, but it also shows us how much CO2 is left in the tank. And then that line comes out and runs into this manifold, and then this manifold feeds the kegs that we have. We have 3 kegs on tap, so these lines, each one of these lines is going to go to the coupler. Now the coupler clicks into the top of the keg, and these are going to be different for commercial kegs, or if you're going to be home brewing, it would be a different setup as well. But the CO2 runs into the coupler, and then out of the top of the coupler you have a beer line, and the beer line runs from there to the back of your shank. Now the shank runs through the wall here, and then the faucet is on the front of the keg, and that's what delivers the beer. The shank is going to be, I went with a 4-inch shank, and that is going to basically determine, or what determines the length of the shank is how thick your wall is. Now we've just got a 3/4 inch piece of plywood, so that is a 4-inch shank is more than enough to tighten down on top of that plywood. Once all of this is all connected up, then we've got beer on tap. Now, in order to keep the chest freezer at the appropriate temperature for beer, we need a temperature regulator, and I did so using the Inkbird temperature controller. The nice thing about this is that I can set the temperature that I want, which was 34 degrees. The probe that is attached to that measures the temperature inside the kegerator, and then if that temperature gets too high, it will kick on, it will allow power to the chest freezer and cool it down to the appropriate temperature. Once it gets down to that temperature, it will cut the power to the chest freezer so that it doesn't get too low for the beer. So the beer's been flowing for about a few weeks now, so we've been living with it. I love the way that the system works. It's just super convenient. The tap handles are awesome, and especially this one right here. This is a custom tap handle from Steel Woodworks. They reached out to me on Instagram, so I'll link up to them in the description. If you need a custom tap handle, make sure you look them up. The one thing that I've been living with is this trash can underneath of the taps, because no matter what, after you get done pouring a beer, there is going to be a little bit of drippage from the spouts or from the faucets. So I want to do something that looks cleaner and is attached to the kegerator itself, or the Keezer as it's known as. So what I came up with was this is, well, first and foremost, they actually make steel drip trays. However, they're pretty expensive and they're pretty shallow, so they don't hold a whole lot. And I didn't want to have a drain running out of the bottom of it. So I've got this thing. This is actually like a freezer organizer bin. I think it was like 10 bucks, maybe even less than that on Amazon. And I need to find a way to attach this to the front of the Keezer. The problem is that we've got Freon lines behind this front face, and I don't want to drill into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a wooden box to go around this out of plywood, and then we're going to stick it to the front of the Keezer with very strong magnets and a little silicone to prevent it from sliding down. All right, so I got my bottom, the sides, and then the ends are gonna actually be a little bit shorter, or actually this end is gonna be a little bit shorter. That's gonna allow me to kind of drop this in here, pick it up and pull it out, and clean the bin out. So now I'm just going to glue and tack this thing together with brad nails, and then we'll drill some holes and attach our magnets to the side. Initially, I was thinking that I was just gonna use 4 magnets, and then after I assembled this thing, I realized that it's got a little bit of weight to it. So we're gonna go with 6 magnets. I did not recess them into the wood just because I didn't want, I wanted them all to perfectly be aligned with the metal, the side of the chest freezer. So we're gonna go ahead and try this out, and I'm gonna see how well it holds. I wanna say these magnets have a 90-pound holding power per magnet. So I'm gonna try it out with without the silicone first and see how it's working, and then we'll go from there. So just like I did with the collar, I'm gonna finish it with a spray shellac, and that will bring out the wood grain in this piece. So whether you're a home brewer or just a beer lover like me, this is a great, easy project and an easy way to have multiple beers on tap in your very own home. But wait, before you go, make sure you check out that video up there. YouTube thinks you'll like it, and I do too. If you haven't hit the subscribe button already, make sure you hit that one down there. And if you want the full article on this build, make sure you hit that link right there. Until next time, be safe and happy building.